Hello everyone and welcome back. You know, bison have spiritual meaning, symbolism, and they are considered the embodiment of power and strength, represent determination, endurance, and stubbornness. In mythology, they are often associated with thunder gods. The bison signifies good luck and protection. In this video, we'll be going over a bison carve I did about 7 years ago. It will test my endurance, my determination, and my stubbornness. My name is Jeff Moore. I am the Northwoods Carver, and thanks for seeing what I saw. Well, there's a lot to unpack, so let's just get started. One truckload full of, I believe those are 8x8s. We had to bring them in. It was chilly, so we let them warm up, and I started making the base shape and the footprint, and then we cut out a bison-shaped piece of paneling, really. Low-end board, I think they call it. And then I just basically kind of waited 24 hours until everything kind of warmed up in there. Then we laminated them together, and you know, there's the base. As you can see, I put forklift fork slots to pick it up. That base would later be shaped like into a kidney shape. Here's the full-on lamination, and my beautiful wife with the outline. Now my job was to take it outside of the interior, I should say the heated shop, out to the unheated shop and let go with those big gas saws. So that's exactly what I did. I just kind of followed the pattern, and I always got to remember not to cut straight in on those patterns. You got to go at an angle, and you can get yourself in trouble. So as you can see, I didn't get myself in too much trouble. So my wife looked happy, so I know I'm good, right? So here we go. In shop, tooling around, trying to find some texture. At this point, I'm just bird dogging it, really trying to find my way. So yeah, just texturing. I'm just kind of bird dogging it through the whole thing. Sanding down musculature. I'm just trying to place things. It's sort of like that game you play when you're a kid. You know, you got these cards and you got to remember where they are. Like, it's sort of like that. So you start sanding over here, and then you go over here and you go, okay, is that going to match? Am I too far here? Is the rib cage the same on the other side? And then you've got to figure out, you know, mass and you know, how is it going to play with that light? You know, I just wanted it to look muscular, and that was my key thing. That was what I wanted the most, is to have accurate, or as accurate as I could get, you know, as far as with the tools I have and talent, whatever there is there. I just wanted to make sure I didn't look like a fool when I was done with this project. So as you can see, I'm starting to work on the hams and getting some, you know, I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do the texture. I just knew it had to be matted and like layer after layer after layer, you know, of just thickness, and you have to like carve in deep, otherwise it just looks like, I don't know, you have to make super deep cuts to give it that extreme shadow in some spots, otherwise it wouldn't work. Simply wouldn't work. And this is where I'm piecing the tail together. So the tail, the grain is all going in directions, right? It all goes lengthwise. So I have to cut each section. As you can see, it's finished there, but so that the grain is always heading in the direction of the appendage. That's why you saw so many contours or breaks in the tail, the numbers. And now we have basically the completed bison, and right now we're looking at probably, I don't know, I think honestly I carved this, it took 11 days in total, probably 9 days to carve, and then 2 days to detail and sand and everything. Yeah, so like, and also on the smooth sections, I didn't want to just polish it smooth. I think what I really just wanted to instead of making a thing, I wanted to create some sort of art with it. So I took my little band file. There should be some pictures coming up here of the strokes I put into this thing. There is like into the body, I mean. So instead of just trying to put like little hashes or something in for fur, I did my I don't know, I guess you would call it, it's like a signature thing I like to do. It's just basically like a giant crosshatch, and with different angles and swirls, and but having patterns intersect around the muscle bellies, you know, that would amplify the muscle bellies, and the as you can start to see it a little here. So it's basically pen and ink, pen and ink strokes, if you can imagine that, like, but invisible for now. You wouldn't see them until I paint. And yes, I said I was going to paint, and I painted this one. And it gets people real nervous when I say I'm going to paint something, but they're like, man, it looks so cool in the blonde. So here's an actual video of my actual wife working on the actual bison, and she's just, right now she's spending a lot of time. As you can see, all the crevices, we got to get all those crevices clean. I mean, there's just sawdust and all kinds of craziness packed in there. You know, because when I use my battery saws, I use canola oil, and that kind of sprays off, gets onto that wood, and then it kind of like any fine dust, just like, and then when you go to paint over it, it could be a problem. Look at them. And also, I'd love to go over the eyes, because the eyes, I've never carved an eye like that, and I've never been able to pull it off since. And it was a risk, because there's some of that line work. Just crazy line. Just like I said, I just wanted to amplify the muscle bellies and the structure of the... You'll see. You'll see. You'll all see. So anyway, getting back to those deep crevices and getting back to the eyes, I didn't want to just do a bulbous eye and then just paint it like an eye, because it looks, even though it looks cool, it doesn't have the depth that I'm looking for. So basically what I did was I carved the eye, the ball, and then I went into the ball a certain depth at a certain width, top to bottom, side to side. Then I took that and I went deeper yet to create two different types of shadow. One would be the lighter texture, or the lighter shadow, and the one would be the deeper texture, like for the pupil. And then I reliefed in another spot, and I took a golf tee and I recessed it at the top, and then I just kept whittling the golf tee down, and then I kept it just outside where the eyelid was, just so that it could catch the light more so than any other part in there, so it looked like a glimmer, like a little, I don't know, a gleam, a glimmer, a sparkle. Yeah, so I put a sparkle in his eye with a not a toothpick, but a golf tee. And I know it sounds wonky, but crazy things happen, and you just do what you got to do. And I tried to carve it in, but I'm not that good at doing eyes, so I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna add it like I add everything else. So I make a mistake, I just add. I just make a flat and add it, but and it didn't look right, so I had to keep whittling with that little sparkle in his eye. And it's hard to see it now, but when I paint it, I paint that little thing that's suspended. It looks like it's hovering above his pupil and his retina or whatever. Just that little sparkle, just that little white tip. It looks great. But yeah, you can kind of see where I'm headed with that. There's a close-up on the eye. And if you're wondering where I got my references, I looked up 3 to 4 different, I had to find out how many different types of bison there were and which one I wanted to replicate. This was, a client was doing a pair, I should say, they were they were in business. They were going to be in business together. It was for Buffalo Trace and a packaging company. And there's my wife getting ready to do the painting, getting ready to throw the black down. Anyway, so they asked me to do this for a trade show that they were going to be doing. So I said absolutely. And they had a deadline, and you know, when you see those TV shows that say, "Oh, we got to have it done in 3 days," or, you know, this was legit. This got done, totally done in a custom crate that I had to build. Actually, I'm not good at building stuff at all. I do have a friend, Jeremiah Dillman, who is very good at building things and fixing things, and he's always good to have hanging around. So I just told the customer, absolutely, I can have that crate built. Obviously, I had to charge for the crate as well, but it needed to be a special crate with, you know, reinforced in certain spots, because I didn't want this thing traveling with all the weight and all that, you know, in those smaller joints and stuff. So well, you'll see towards the end, you'll see. So here we are. We're getting there's a better view of the eye. We're getting closer to the point where I'm about ready to paint this thing. My wife's got it all blown out, and it was so photogenic, everyone. Like, it was, I couldn't, like, I might have taken the same images like 40 times, and I had to filter through them. So if you do see some in this that are the same, I don't care. I love this thing. I love this thing. So we had to basically create a kidney shaped base and it all had to fit into a specific footprint, which I'm not really, let's just face it, I'm not used to working that way. I just wing it. Well, when you work with these customers, they're extremely specific. I worked directly with the designer that designed the entire booth. It was this huge booth at, they called me when they were in Vegas, and then they asked me if I could have a bison carved, an almost full-size bison or whatever, done by the time they got to Chicago, and that was going to be in 3 weeks. Okay. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was 3 months. They said, I said 3 months I could do. There's the black. And you can really see the work. Now you can see the work. With the grain, you really can't. I mean, I know everyone likes to see that grain, but I'm here to tell you, when it's blacked out like that, you see every stroke, every intentional sanding mark or whatever. Anything I want to do that's intentional is going to show itself. The darkness around the eyes, everything. The depth. You'll see the crosshatch on the belly and all the muscle bellies, and you'll see a lot of stuff that you just simply wouldn't see if it was blonde. But anyway, so we started the project, and then they're calling me, well, can you do it? Can you have it done in 2 months? And then pretty soon it was, can you have it done in a month and a half? And then it was a month, because we need to get this thing into the auditorium, or they're having this big thing at at least a week or two in advance, so that they have I don't understand how these big conferences or these big things work, but they needed it apparently. So and then I finished it. We got everything done. I knocked it out, and it was crazy. But let's get back to the video. So, as you can see, there's plenty of shots. I'm a little camera happy here. There's plenty of shots with me, I should say, of the bison and all of the lines. And this is just like me breaking down the coloration. That's kind of not the finished product. As you can see, I'm still working in some color and trying to get it to where I want it. The caramels and the toasted colors, and then the blacks, and there's like a yellowish, like from the sun being, almost like on the back of a grizzly, they get really kind of like a yellowish grizzled, like a blonde almost. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm just testing the waters as I go and accentuating the musculature, and also trying to accentuate the pretty cool line work I did on the body, as far as, you know, around the ribs. And of course I gotta throw in the fancy fog. So I think what I'm going to do now is just tell you how proud I am of this piece. Also keep an eye out for that dot on the eye. And I'm just going to shut up for a while and just look at this video. It's just a different thing. I raised the bar for myself. And is there things wrong with it? Yes, absolutely. Like the guy right there, he should have never shaved his goatee off. That's a travesty. Anyways, yeah. So this is the big crate that we had to build, custom crate. Yeah, and we had to make it so that everything worked the way it was supposed to. Like they could come, pick it up, move it, and then when they got where they were going, they could unbolt certain bolts, and then it would free things up. And then we had straps in there. You'll see towards the end exactly what it took. And there is the fork holes in action. I just felt safer having it strapped down, and it was super muddy that day, as you can see. And that's not something you see every day. It's yeah, my Bison out in the weather. Fear not, that thing was so coated, it's not even funny. It had moisture, had zero chance of getting into that. So we've got the little skid loader. It's bringing the Bison to the lower section of my barn, which is where we had to move the crate because we needed it out of my shop. Okay, and then we needed it to be someplace where we could access it for when the guy finally did show up with the white glove moving service. Had to come and get it, and there you can see him. Perfectly fits in there, and you can start see we got those the hooks in the ceiling and on the sides, and it was buttoned up and getting ready to go. And that is the unceremonious end to the video. So thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tee off on that notification bell.